I'm 48 years old. I've been married to my wife for 15 years. We have 5 beautiful children. We love the outdoors. We like to go out and hike and fish and camp and hunt. We also are into health. We like to try to take care of ourselves as best we can. So we take our health very seriously. Now, I was getting up into my late 40s and I was beginning to think it's time to consider having some kind of coverage for my family. I had my first contact with Bob Derby, and Bob was very helpful, very comforting.
I got to know Dave. He's an incredible individual. The living benefits policy is a life insurance product with living benefits. If someone gets a terminal illness where they have less than a year to live, or a critical illness like a heart attack, cancer, stroke, or if they cannot do 2 of the 6 activities of daily living like bathing, dressing, feeding themselves, then they can access money out of the policy while they're still alive. It's life insurance they don't have to die to use.
Well, my wife and I were in the gym working out at our house, and I got a sharp pain in my left side of my chest, and I thought I had just pulled a muscle. The next thing that occurred, I started to get the pain down the left arm, and I started to sweat. And I knew right away that this was an issue. When we got to the hospital, they verified I was having the heart attack. And the sad thing was they did not have a staffed cath lab at the hospital that I was at, so I had to be life flighted. It took about another 40 minutes to an hour to get me from that one hospital to the other hospital. I had an hour, or maybe you could say an hour and 20 minutes, where I had basically the left side of my heart shut down. And so I got to the hospital. They were waiting for me in the operating room. They got me in there. Just amazing how fast they got in and put a stent in my left anterior descending artery. When we had started the policy versus the time when I actually had the heart attack was only 3 months. About 2 weeks after that, I had more chest pains. And this meant another incident where we had to get tested. I had to be life flighted out a second time. You think about laying there in ICU wondering, yeah, are you going to make it out of there? And is your family going to be taken care of? We found out as the bills began to roll in that it was well over $150,000 worth of bills. There was a lot of concern about that, but I was also very comforted knowing that I had the living benefits. And if I needed to pull on those benefits, I could.
I don't hand those kind of checks out every day, you might imagine. And I told him when I handed it to him, I said, you're the first living person I've ever handed a life insurance check to. If he were to pass away today, he'd still have right around $500,000 that his loved ones would get.
What I liked the best about the life insurance policy with the living benefits is the fact that if you needed to use a portion of the policy, you had the ability to use it. It's very flexible.
I would tell people to purchase this policy because they don't know what's going to happen in the future. Nobody has a crystal ball. Nobody knows if an illness or a sickness or an accident that could leave them paralyzed is going to happen.
No matter how old you are, whether you're in your 20s or your 30s or you're like me in your 40s, it's pretty important to have good coverage. It's good to have a life insurance policy that you can feel good about and know that you got coverage if there's anything that ever happens to you. You always expect the best, but you got to be prepared for the worst. We should all have that attitude.